13-year-old. He watches some videos on Twitch.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah. I don't know anything more about it. It is appropriate. It was someone fishing. I can tell you that.
Ask him if he ever watches the commissioners on Twitch.
I think that would be a solid no.
Don't even have to ask.
I don't think I have to ask. No.
Okay, so we are recording and live streaming when you are ready, Mr. Chairman. Looks like.
Okay, I'd like to call the Isabella County Board of Commissioners Human Resources and Public Works Committee to order. Call to the public. Is anybody online?
There is not at this time.
Thank you. That being the case, we'll go to our first item, which is to consider approving the board chairperson or designee to sign both the completed Regional 7 Area Agency on Aging request for proposal RFP application and letter of support on behalf of the Isabella County Commission on Aging for funding for fiscal year 2023, October 2022 to September 30th, 2023, prior to the June 27th, 2022 deadline. We have Jen Crawford.
Yes, good morning. So as this is customary, every year we have a very tight turnaround when we receive the RFP application or grant application from Region 7 Area Agency on Aging. Our due date is June 27th, and it is a very large application that we have to put together. And so we're currently still working on this, and it would be for funding for both our in-home and Food with Friends programs in the amount of $239,824. So very substantial amount of money that would help support our programs. And so we're just hoping that we could have request or approval again to have the chairperson or his designee sign the application for us. And my goal is to have it ready for next Tuesday night when he's at our building. We're plugging away at this, so I'm hopeful that you would give us approval to do that again.
Okay, any questions or comments on this?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
Sounds like a win to me, Jen.
All right, well, that'll be our goal. My goal is to have it ready for you that night.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, I consider approving the board chairperson or designee to sign both the complete Region 7 Area Agency on Aging request for the proposed RFP application and letter of support on behalf of the Isabella County Commission on Aging for the funding for fiscal year 2023, October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023, prior to the June 27th, 2022 deadline.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 3 to the regular session of the County Commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. The item will be forwarded to the regular session of the County Commission next week. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You
You
too.
too.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is consider approving the contract extension between Central Michigan University and Isabella County Material Recovery Facility for recycling services effective July 1st, 2022 until June 30th, 2023, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. We have Jake Gordon here, the MRF director. Give us a background on this. Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
As you can see, the recycling facility has a pretty long-standing relationship with CMU and removing their recyclables from campus. I was able to negotiate a 9% increase from the contract that we originally signed. I believe that would be 5 years ago in 2017. It's part of that negotiation was looking at what CMU, what their financial standing is right now because of enrollment being down. All of that stuff was taken into consideration. One of the things that I really tried to do, and they wouldn't commit to, but I was trying to see whether I could negotiate something in that if I could not get any more than a 9% increase, whether I could by chance get them to agree to help write grant funding for us.
Mhm.
They, considering that took other departments into account, they were not able to, accommodate us on that because it was trying to combine too many departments into something that they couldn't necessarily commit them to. But
A great idea, Jim.
Yeah.
so, I mean, because 9% is, it's a good number until you really look at the numbers. And that's the sad part about it. 5 years ago when we bid the contract, I really would have liked to have seen give a little bit better numbers to our advantage. But at the time we ended with what we did. More than happy to be able to continue to work with CMU. That's the biggest thing.
Mhm.
But as you can see, the estimated amounts of increases from 42,821.01 to 46,675.01. But so like I say, it's a positive for us. It's not where I'd really like to be able to see us at, but it's definitely a positive, and it is also still continuing to work with CMU. So my recommendation is to move forward with this contract and have the board chair sign the same. As you can see, there's two different pages or one page now. I think the contract extension is there. It would be from July 1st of 22 to June 30th, 23.
So last time it was for 5 years or?
It's actually a 3-year contract with 2 years extension granted if there's no disagreement on either side by either party. We've extended that, or we've pushed that through that 2-year automatic extension area, and now it's back to they could either go out to bid or they could come back to the table and negotiate with us. And they chose to come back to a 1-year contract, and they didn't want to go anything more than 1 year
Because of the their uncertainty on their situation.
right? Because of enrollment. So they elected to do a 1-year contract.
They do a lot of 1-year contracts for a lot of things.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that for them right now, this is the ideal thing to be able to do because financially, this is not where the county needs to be when it comes to, at a minimum, our trip charge. I could work with the processing fees because you can see on the last page of this what it amounts to. Where our processing fee with this increase is $22.45. It was $20.60. So, you see that 9% and you say, well, that's not bad. Then you look at the numbers. It's a $2 increase, on that contract. Our tip or our trucking fees was $30, and I think it was a straight $30 trip charge. That's to go to CMU and back. That may seem, 5 years ago, that may have seemed like a reasonable number. It wasn't, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. The thing of it is that, we were able to get some increase on it. I honestly would have liked to have seen us had about a $60 trip charge, 50 or 60 at a minimum. And where I really would have liked is I would have liked to have brought our processing fee up to what we're charging everyone else at $60 a ton. So, but like I said, we are trying to work with CMU in the situation they're in as well.
Yeah.
Well, and ours too, right? With the feasibility study. I mean, we wouldn't want to commit to anything longer than a year sitting here right now.
That's a good
Sure.
point. Anybody have anything else?
I had a question that just escaped me. I don't know, drawing a blank. Are we getting less product from CMU since our enrollment's down, or?
It hasn't appeared that it's down an awful lot.
Mhm.
I think that number is still pretty close.
Mhm.
Because we had extended out, we were picking stuff up from the married housing units now.
Mhm.
Some of the other outlier, still campus housing, so to speak, but some of the outlier areas to the north west corner, the apartments over in that area, we were picking product out of there that we hadn't been.
Yeah, of
you
course,
know,
those are going away.
Yeah, so, yeah, and we've moved them containers down to Ground South. But, we haven't really seen much of a decrease in the amount of product. So, that's the
Okay.
positive side.
That's good. Yeah, I know they work pretty hard to get people to recycle.
Mhm.
So we pick up for CMU and then we have our own drop off places out in the townships, right?
Yes, yes. We have 11 depot sites.
11 depot sites. And then do we pick up from anyone else or is that it?
We have 6 curbside contracts as well. We have the Village of Shepherd, Lincoln Township, Rollin Township, Union, Deerfield, and Lake Isabella.
That was, so you got them.
That's it.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that's all.
Okay, yeah, I just wondered.
And that's one of the things that, depending on where we're at with the feasibility study, we're definitely, if we stay in curbside recycling, we will definitely have to redo them contracts. Because realistically, them haven't been touched since the onset. Them numbers are way askew of what they really should be at.
Mhm.
But, we'll have to see what the feasibility study has to say on that, so. That's,
And the entities that do the curbside, like the city, do they bring everything
yes,
out to the facility?
yes.
Okay.
We do have some issues that I'll be addressing. I will start to try and address on Tuesday or on Thursday at our next Thursday at our department head meeting. I am going to be talking to the prosecuting attorney on some things. So by county ordinance, anything collected that is recyclable in Isabella County is supposed to be brought to the facility.
Right.
And I know that there's at least one company that is not doing that.
Mhm.
It is an issue that I think needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
It will depend on probably on the prosecuting attorney's availability to be able to draft a letter for us.
Mhm.
But I think it is something that we need to consider.
Definitely.
It is important for the companies that are working within Isabella County to understand that that ordinance is in place and that they really should be following the ordinance that's there.
And the thing I hear a lot is the apartment complexes. Are we working somehow to get them to recycle more?
The big thing when it comes to the apartment complexes is that, every one of them would love for us to set a recycling container.
Sure.
Um,
And then come and pick it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, but
Yes.
the issue then
Yeah.
there comes into, how do you, we haven't done it before because of the fact that I don't want to compete against the people that are bringing us product.
Oh.
It's Waste Management,
Yeah.
Republic, Ranger,
Mhm.
all of them that are the major haulers can set recycling containers at every one of them apartment complexes. But again, what it comes down to is so many of the owners of them facilities don't want to have an additional charge on top of their trash pickup.
Yeah.
But the thing they don't understand, and so much of it is that a lot of times they'll reduce their trash pickup, the amount of times that it gets picked up. So it's actually not really necessarily an increase. Trying to get them to understand that is the biggest problem.
Mhm.
That they're really not going to end up with a huge, being charged for the same thing twice, so to speak. A trash recycling container and a trash and a recycling container, when realistically they're going to reduce their trash hauls.
Right.
Which then, it may balance out, but again, it comes back, and so many things come back to education on all of that. Us not having an education budget to be able to get in and talk to different people,
Mhm.
whether it's the, the local business. I'm drawing a blank here, and it's unusual for me, but
Chamber of
the
Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
things like that, to be able to do some presentations at Chamber of Commerce
Mhm.
meetings and things.
Mhm. Yeah.
To let the local businesses understand that, it's not necessarily going to be an increase. So it's, again, it comes back to feasibility study and that whole process.
Right.
One of the things that they're looking at is how do we do all of this? But one of the most important things is education or part of it. So.
Nicole, you got something?
I did. I had a question on the CMU contract. Is that based on, is there a schedule of pickup or is it based on volume when the containers are full?
We do have a schedule. And I can't speak exact on the scheduling of it. Charity, my operations manager, runs the scheduling of that. And she meets with CMU on that a couple of times a year to know exactly, CMU obviously knows what containers get used more, as well as what we know as far as data coming in, tonnages. And we work with them on that scheduling to be able for them to understand that, okay, if this particular building, we know that we're dumping every time that we're going there, whether it's once a week or once every 2 weeks is full, maybe we need to bump it up a little bit more, or it's only half full, we can reduce it back. So we work with CMU very closely on not trying to over dump, their containers. So normally what you do, we would set something like this up on every tank would be on a weekly schedule and we do a rotation of that schedule. But with CMU being a partner enough with us that we really try to make sure that, we're not just going to dump the empty container.
Mhm.
We'll go in and check the container. And if it's not full enough for us to pull, we don't, even though it may be on the list to pick up, we won't pick it up. So, we really do work with CMU quite diligently on that, just try and save them some money.
Mhm.
In which it only makes sense. Could we bring that container back to the facility and dump it anyways? Yeah, but that's not the right thing for us to do. I think we need to be able to work with them and get them the most efficiency for them and for us. We're saving some trips back and forth by checking a container and saying, nah, it's not full enough.
Well, and it's 4 or 5 miles, so it's not like you're driving to the other side of the county.
Right. But on the other side of that, so that you're aware, Commissioner, every one of them stoplights that truck has to set and idle at is money being spent. So,
Oh, yeah.
them are all things that I have to take into consideration.
Right.
When it comes to the contracts. And so that's part of the reason why I say, we're not where I would like to see us on, as far as trip charge, things of that nature.
Mhm.
But it is, at this point, I think it's the right thing to do for CMU and for the county as a whole. So.
Anything else? Anybody?
Okay. Consider approving the contract extension between Central Michigan University and the Isabel County Material Recovery Facility for recycling services effective July 1st, 2022 until June 30th, 2023, and authorize board chair to sign the same.
Support. It's been moved and supported to move item 4 to the work and regular session of the county commission next week. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. The ayes carry. The item will be forwarded to the work and regular session of the county commission next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake.
You guys enjoy your day.
You
You
too.
too.
Okay, I'll call to the public. Anybody online?
There is not at this time, Mr.
Okay. Sometimes Eric Barron is on.
Chairman.
He must be. I mean, how else
Maybe
could
he's
he?
out there in
He
YouTube.
watches it later sometimes
Yeah.
as well, yeah.
Good morning, Eric, or good afternoon.
Okay, then there'd be no response to the call to the public. I'll call this meeting an adjournment.
Okay.